This is Two-Tone Airsoft Reviews, and this is a video about the VSR-10, the Wolf VSR-10. This gun was originally made by a company called Steyr Mannlicher. They make the AUG, the Glock, and the TMP. Well, they're the famous rifles that they have, but they make lots of nice sport-like rifles. Okay, so there's two things to know about this gun. It's cheap. It was £95 from Action Hobbies, and it's not very well constructed. It is Chinese. It is a very nice shape, so it's nice to hold. It's not as long as the L96, which is also nice. The gun for £95 comes with just the rifle, the speed loader, and the manual down there on the screen. So, two things that are wrong with it. You've got the trigger mechanism and the safety mechanism that are both kind of the same thing. They go hand in hand. And then you've got your hop-up adjustment system. Now, the reason why that is a problem is because the hop-up is kind of almost external, and the water can run through into it. And the trigger mechanism is simply the springs that guide the safety mechanism, and the latch are not strong enough to hold onto the high-powered spring inside the gun. So it's very poorly designed, and apparently this is a reoccurring problem with Wolf. So let's just move on to the smaller parts about this gun, because there's not really much to it. So first going to look at the hop-up. The hop-up here is just a tiny little latch on the left-hand side, and you move it and you slide it across for more hop-up or less hop-up the other direction, and so on. In here there's that little gap that the water goes through. This is your Harris bipod attachment and your sling loop holes there. And there's your magazine, took it out. There you go, it's 30 rounds, put it back in. It is a double action, not a straight pull bolt. And that was just displaying the trigger not working there, because I had the trigger down. So that shows that it would actually release it if you were to pull the trigger when it was in its backwards position. And the bolt moved there, so that showed that there's a misalignment with the bolt and the receiver. Your aluminium barrel there, and your ABS plastic stock there. The finish was originally rubberized blue, but it was horrible, so I painted over it with matte black. Okay. So, all in all, this is a nice rifle. It's got a good range to it and a good FPS. It's about 450 FPS, and its range, I'm shooting good at 50 meters. It shoots very straight. But as regards to how the gun works, the safety mechanism and the trigger mechanism completely ruin this gun, and you'll pull the bolt back and put it back in position, and then it'll fire the gun when you pull the handle down because it makes it all go off. So I'm going to show you a solution. So we're going to take the gun apart now. Right, there's 3 screws in ascending order, and that go from the front of the magazine to the back of the trigger guard. I've taken the magazine out there, and the trigger guard comes out when you pull the whole thing apart. Now in this video, I think I dropped the stock there, but hey, it's a nice strong stock, so there you go. I rescued it, and there's screws there. So we're just going to focus in now to the left hand side, which you probably already noticed there is orange rubber bands around my trigger mechanism. That is the general gist of that. Let's zoom in, center it up, focus, right, okay. So there's the rubber bands. They're either side of the latches. There's only a tiny gap for the rubber bands to go through, but it does work. Just wrap a rubber band around the actual thing itself. There's a safety mechanism where the safety mechanism should have been, but I took it out because that's what was causing all the problems. So the rubber bands there go round either side of the latch for the bolt. Now that makes sure that there is equal tension in either side of the latch, because when you pull the bolt backwards, it's got to slide past the little knock that it latches onto. So that's how the rubber band contributes to this whole entire thing. The trigger, you need to it completely relies on the safety itself to be sprung back into position. So what there is a plate in here that is represented by this screw here, and what that does is when you pull the trigger, it will move that part of that latch there up like that, yeah, and then that will release the other latch that holds onto the bolt, but there's nothing to do that, so you have to put a spring right there. and that is what solves the problem of the trigger. If you want an in-depth review of how to perform that operation, just leave a load of comments, and if we get about 10 or 20, I will definitely post a video on how to fix the VSR style Snow Wolf trigger boxes. This is not a temporary fix, obviously, because it's just a rubber band, but it's better than nothing until you can buy a new trigger box or a new rifle, which is what I recommend. I don't recommend buying this rifle, and I hope that you can solve your issues with your gun, and thank you for watching this review.